Okay, students, now let's just get started. In our previous thinker, we were trying to understand who exactly is Karl Marx and what are the important contributions that has been made by him. In today, I want to talk to you about this important thinker called as Emile Durkheim, and he plays a very significant role in shaping how sociology is present today. Why am I saying this? Because during the period when Emile Durkheim was present, the subject of sociology didn't really come into existence. Although officially we say that Auguste Comte is the father of sociology, but undoubtedly, informally, even Emile Durkheim is also considered to be as one of the founding fathers of sociology. Why am I saying this? We'll look into it in a while. So, before we go and talk more in detail about Emile Durkheim, it's very important to understand what is the background from where Emile Durkheim is coming from. He is basically regarded to be as one of the most respected French sociologists. Even though the contribution of Germany has been more significant in the later decades, but largely the birth of sociology, the contributors of this subject is largely coming from the south of France. If you recall, Auguste Comte, he was also considered to be as a French sociologist. In the same way, Emile Durkheim is also considered to be as an important French sociologist. If you look at the background of this person, he didn't really have any great interest towards understanding of the society. In fact, he was coming from a Jewish family and he was considered to be as one of the rabbis. In simple terms, I can say that rabbi is like a Jewish priest. Same way, like how we have got Pandits or the Brahmins in the case of Hinduism, the top caste. Same way in the Judaism, in the Jewish communities, the priest communities are called to be as rabbi. So I can say Durkheim is coming from a family where he can be called to be as the Brahmanical in Judaism. His father was a priest, his grandfather was a priest, so they were expecting that Emile Durkheim would take a similar pathway where he would be given the responsibility of taking care of synagogues. Synagogues are nothing but the Jewish temples that we are having. But this person was not very interested in continuing the legacy that his family was following. In fact, he declares himself to be as a person who doesn't really believes in God. Although officially he did not declare himself as an atheist, but he says, I have got no interest in what my family was doing from a long span of time. So after declaring himself as an atheist, he goes and he graduates from the subject of philosophy. He wanted to understand what are some of the important great intellectual thoughts that has been put up in the society. So he graduates from philosophy and later he graduates from the field of psychology in the University of Bordeaux. After doing his graduation from the University of Bordeaux, he was seeing that psychology is not actually a great subject where he wants to contribute himself. So what he did, he moved from France because in France he couldn't really add a new subject matter or a new domain. So he left this particular country and he left the past studies, and from there he goes to Germany, and over there in Germany he was very much encouraged to add this new subject matter where people are trying to explain this new science in which people wants to study society. So he goes and he studies the scientific he studies the society with a scientific discipline. This word is very important, trying to understand society on a scientific temperament. And once he developed this subject matter, he says that if I want to explain what an individual is like in a society, I must do that in a scientific manner. I must not do on the basis of philosophy. I am not going to study society like a group of individuals, because he says studying of an individual is called as psychology, and sociology is not studying for the group of individuals. There is a whole different subject matter expertise that we need to talk about. So he says society is not a group of individuals. It has got its own domain. It has got its own temperament. It has got its own cliche. So he wants to study the society in a scientific manner, and he brings this approach towards sociology. And this approach of trying to study the society in a scientific manner, later this becomes to be called as the disciplines of positivism. Now, what really happens here after developing sociology on the lines of positivism? We will try to understand what is the syllabus that we are having in UPSC when it comes to sociology and when it comes to Emile Durkheim. So here I have written the four important components that we are having when it comes to Emile Durkheim. The first important component that we are having is social facts. If you look at this term, facts, this has been picked up in a very precise manner, because Durkheim was one of those individuals who says that society can be studied in the same way that how we are studying a scientific subject. And what is the meaning of the word scientific subject? He says scientific subjects are those subjects which are studied in an objective manner. They are studied on the basis of experimentation, on the basis of rationality, on the basis of some kind of, what do we call as, he says the word things. The way how you are studying physics, chemistry, and biology, in the same way, this subject is also going to be treated like how we are dealing that in a factual manner. So he says the word social fact. So before we go into the depth of different disciplines that Durkheim is going to talk about, first of all, I will be talking to you in detail about what is social facts. The second important topic that we are having is Marxian division of labor. When Durkheim was contributing, he was basically born in the middle of the 19th century. If I'm not wrong, he was born in 1858 and he was present up till 1970. During this period, he sees that there is a very important person in Germany. His name is Karl Marx. And Marx has given something called as economic division of labor. He rejects this concept of economic division of labor, and he gives the concept called as social division of labor. And after looking at this topic of social division of labor, the most important topic when it comes to Emile Durkheim is the subject called as suicide. He says suicide is not at all an individual phenomena, but rather it is a collective phenomena. A person doesn't commit a suicide because of their own individual will, but rather they commit they commit the suicide on the basis of social setting. It is an external phenomena. The other people, they enforces this concept of suicide, and that is the reason a person does. So he rejects this. This is not a psychological topic. This is not an individual topic, but rather it is a social topic. He is trying to frame this concept from this field of psychology into the field of sociology. And then we have another important topic that we are having, the fourth topic. It is the subject called as religion. He goes and he studies a tribe in Australia, an aboriginal tribe known as Aruntal, and then he speaks about it. Now, I want to give you a more detailed orientation of what Durkheim is trying to contribute. Durkheim is telling the way how we study the scientific subject. Sociology is also a scientific discipline. So basically, there are two popular ways of studying the society. One, today popularly we say, so studying of the society, it is a subjective concept. What is the meaning of subjective concept? It varies a lot from a person to a person. This phenomena is highly variable. The studying of the society is an abstract. It's a 1 minute. It is considered to be as an abstract phenomenon. On the other hand, those group of people who are telling the society can be studied in a scientific manner, they are telling we will study the society in an objective way on the basis of experimentation, on the basis of factuality, on the basis of evidences. This is the reason this approach of studying the society on the basis of science, this way, this approach on the basis of science is largely called to be as positivism. This phenomena of studying the society on the basis of telling it is an art, this is called to be as idealism. So here we have one concept of idealism, another phenomena of positivism. Right now, I don't want to talk to you about anything about idealism, but rather I want to say that Durkheim can also be called to be as positivist. This is a term that we use. Positivist means a person who believes in positivism. Another phenomena that Durkheim is highly regarded is he tells everything in the society has got a particular role to play. Nothing is without a purpose. Nothing is without a reason. If something is happening, even if you think that is wrong, even if you think that is undesirable, Durkheim will come and say, no, it has got a purpose. That is why it is there. So he uses this anthropological way of looking at the society, because an anthropologist says whatever is present in the human body, it had a purpose, and that is why it is there. If there is no purpose, slowly the biology will eliminate it, and that is the reason in our ancestry the apes were having tails. That function of the tail was basically to help the apes to jump from one branch to another branch. So tail had a function, it retained. But in the course of evolution, when our ancestors, they got down from those trees, Neanderthals, Homo erectus, and all those kind of stages, before the Homo sapiens had come, we were not staying on the trees. We were not jumping from one branch to another branch. So the tail, it lost its function. So in the course of evolution, the tail has lost its function. The tail is not present in today's human bodies. Anthropologists, primatologists, they try to study the human body on the basis of functional phenomena. If something is present in the human body, it has got a purpose. Same way, Emile Durkheim is trying to tell everything in the society has got an important function to play, and that is how the society is able to sustain itself. You think that murder is not important, Durkheim is going to come and tell murder is important. Durkheim is going to come and tell rapes are important. Durkheim will come and tell, or the Durkheimian view will come and tell, we need pandemics, we need global warming, we need all those kind of recessions that we are trying to fight today. So he is telling everything has got a function to say, everything has got a function to play. You need to go and understand what is that function. You need to go and understand what is that role performance. So Durkheim is also regarded to be called as a functionalist. So trying to study the society in a scientific manner, and he says studying the society in a scientific manner is called as social facts. And what are the three important topics that we are having? He gives a critique to Marxian division of labor. His view is called as Durkheim's division of labor. He then picks up another important topic, that suicide is not a psychological phenomena, it is rather a sociological phenomena. He studies an Australian type called as Aruntas, and then he talks about this topic called as religion. And how does he bring these concepts in the line of positivism and on the basis of functionalism? These are some previous year questions that I have used from the past 2-3 years, from the year 2024, from the year 2025. I have picked up some questions. Please take a look at it. I will be discussing these questions in the later following videos. That's it in our today's outlining what Emile Durkheim is all about. These are some previous year questions. I wish you all the best. I will see you in the next video discussing who is Max Weber.